Hi, I'm Sug.
And I'm Dan.
This is the Demystified Zone.
A conversation about North Korea, who is watching my every move.
Dan, are you into crypto?
I am not into crypto. Investing, I realized I don't have the stomach for it. So
Wait. Stomach for investing or crypto?
investing in general, I'm in it for the long term, and I don't look at any of it from a day-to-day perspective.
Got it. Set it and forget it. Buy that house, stay there for 30 years.
Yeah, because if I look at one day and it goes down a little, I freak out and I sell everything. So crypto is like the epitome of that for me.
No risk
Scares
tolerance
me.
for you here. You have a low risk tolerance.
Is that what it's called?
And actually, no, not exactly. But in general, you don't like.
I'm not a day trader type of guy.
Sure.
I don't have the stomach for that.
I would say, yeah, you probably like to play it safe, though, lower risk tolerance. But
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about crypto.
Okay, crypto is like this made up money system where
It's like I'm asking a child. Explain to me how money works.
it's a made up money system where instead of a government backing a certain currency, it is backed by everyone because there's more transparency involved in transactions, and the blockchain knows all.
The blockchain does know all.
So
It tells no lies.
it tells no lies, and so it is a more transparent type of system. That is my layman's explanation of it.
That's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not bad. There's a lot to it, but in general, that's, it's a finite. That was the only other thing I'd add is it's a finite commodity. So I don't know if commodity is the right word. Like gold, there's only so much gold in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much crypto that can be, at least with Bitcoin, and I think most of the other ones too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, crypto to me, I don't think I have the mind for it. I know it's big, I know it's growing, and it's making waves. I've not jumped onto that wave yet. Even though I do dabble in investing. It's one of those things I don't know. Like I feel like, you go into that pool first. You go into the pool with sharks first, and let's see if those sharks are friendly or not, or if they're not really sharks. If it's safe. And I feel like I'm still standing outside the pool right now and looking in. And obviously, there's a lot than just Bitcoin and Ethereum out there. We got NFTs. We got all sorts of different forms. Doge. Well, Doge. Yes. That's what scares me. That's the sharks that scare me, of like meme cryptos that can ruin people or make people. But yes. Okay. So we're talking about cryptos today because if you're at the Crossing Borders blog, which I recommend all y'all check out for any news on North Korea, we've got a headline there. It says, North Korea steals millions from cryptocurrency exchanges.
Yeah.
So we've got a crypto heist, as I like to call it, the North Korean crypto heist. So let's read some of these headlines. So according to recent UN report, North Korea cyber actors stole more than $50 million between 2020 and mid-2021 from at least 3 cryptocurrency exchanges in North America, Europe, and Asia, probably reflecting a shift to diversify its cybercrime operations to fund its nuclear and missile programs.
Yep.
An unidentified cybersecurity firm further reported that in 2021, the Norse cyber actors stole a total of $400 million worth of US worth of cryptocurrency through 7 intrusions into cryptocurrency exchanges and investment firms. Korea going crypto.
I mean, North Korea has so many ways to illegitimately make money. I mean, they produce methamphetamine. They are the world's best counterfeiters of U.S. $100 bills.
Really? I did not know that.
And experts say that there are probably hundreds of millions of North Korean produced U.S. $100 bills in circulation because we just can't tell the difference at this point.
Get out of here. I did not know that.
Such a gifted people using it.
The gifted artists over there. It's like Lethal Weapon 4. Remember when they kidnap the uncle who's the artist to make the plates? Lethal Weapon 4 is the best one with Jet Li. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway, the renminbi. Someone out there is laughing right now. That's why I'm going right now because they remember. That is so crazy to me. I did not know that. Because you brought it up, I wanted to talk about this. I was going to do this later, but we'll bring it up now. Like, I know that North Korea is basically just like a really big organized crime country. Yeah. They're basically organized crime country. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about, and obviously it's a very poor country too.
Yeah.
How are they making bank? How are they making their money? We got fake $100 bills on the table. Mm-hmm. That's one thing.
They send their people around the world to work, and they send them to Africa. They send them to different countries. So this is another thing where they will the North Korean government will demand that the government be paid in U.S. dollars for the labor of these guys. But they will pay these guys in North Korean won, right? Which is worthless, basically. Right?
But who's paying them? The North Korean government is paying
them. Yes. So it's like
they're exchanging.
It's like going to Chuck E. Cheese, putting a real dollar bill, right? Chuck E. Cheese gets that money, but the kids get this coin that you can only use in Chuck E. Cheese, right?
And there's no arcade games in there.
Yeah. So
or pizza.
That money is only good at one place.
And my gosh.
So they need to have liquid US dollar to buy and sell whatever they need to buy, which could be legitimate things, right? Food from the outside world or things like that. But also underground for their nuclear ambitions. Yeah. So with crypto, it's another way to get another form of valid currency so that they can make these purchases.
So, okay. Yeah. If I'm understanding correctly, North Korea's main GDP is outside contractors, basically like sending people out to make money.
It's not it's not their number one way of making money, but yes, it's one of the ways that they make money.
Okay. And then, so what are some other ways?
So
the drug, you mentioned the drug trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
They make meth, they make cocaine. One of the refugees in our network was a military worker, and she told me personally, I heard this testimony firsthand that she worked in a cocaine factory. Wow. And it was for the military.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Right?
Wow.
So she was like an outside guard at the cocaine factory. They dabble in drugs, they counterfeit, they they have, so back to the workers, they have this joint operation with South Korea called Kaesung, where South Korean companies operate in North Korea, very close to the DMZ.
Okay.
And they manufacture clothing and things like that in North Korea.
Okay.
They, again, pay North Korea in U.S. dollars, and North Korea then pays their workers in...
It's North Korean workers, but a South Korean-owned company. And North Korea is paying the workers for the factory, but in North Korean currency.
And so, for example, a lot of the articles that you'll see online about life in North Korea, they'll quote the running rate of a bag of rice or a pound of rice, a kilo of rice in North Korea in Chinese money
Huh.
because the Chinese RMB is now basically a de facto currency for North Korea because the people don't trust this money. So people are stockpiling RMB. US dollar is even better.
That's so crazy. So like, I mean, basically their own country itself has recognized that its currency is basically worthless, yet they still pay their people in that, or they claim that that's the main. Going back to the South Korean company, well, so what's in it for the South Korean company to come and make clothes in North Korea? Is it a humanitarian project to do that? Okay.
It's a humanitarian / there are a faction of people in South Korea who want reunification, and they think it's a step in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, are there any industries, I guess it's going to be coming from China, maybe Russia, that actually do any kind of profitable commerce from into North Korea?
So North Korean minerals are huge. So
got it.
This is deep waters too, but North Korean coal is supposed to be legitimately, it's not like my dad saying this, but like experts say that North Korean coal is some of the best in the world. But
that sounds very Korean. I know that it is Korean. But it's
the experts,
it's like the air in South Korea is so fresh. It's fresher than any air in the world. But
yeah, exactly.
North Korean coal
and rare earth minerals. So if North Korea could get their hands on enough fuel to run their mines, they could set the market on all kinds of minerals like coal and rare earth. In fact, they say, our phones, they require rare earth minerals.
All the time. Cobalt for batteries and electric vehicles. There's all sorts of different things that we require.
Is cobalt rare earth? I didn't know that.
I think so. I just know that that's a big thing now for batteries needed.
Yeah.
And superconductors too need some kind of another rare earth mineral I can't think of.
So rare earth is sanctioned by North Korea. The world is prevented from buying these minerals from North Korea through the sanctions. But because they're friends with China, and because all of our stuff is made in China, it's speculated that all of our stuff has North Korean rare earth minerals in it.
I mean, it makes sense that North Korea is rich in those things because, like you said, they just don't have the infrastructure and development to tap their full potential of their resources. And it's an untouched land, to some degree. It's an ancient land.
Well, one of the biggest sanctions on them is fuel. So they supposedly have the equipment that they need to extract, but they just don't have the fuel to run their machinery.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they have the coal there.
Yeah.
They need the gasoline. They need petrol or some kind of oil. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So that's their number one asset.
It's like when you play Settlers of Catan and you don't got that brick. Sorry, that was my nerd cut for today. It's the worst. Or the ore would be more accurate, I guess. Man, that's that and it's I mean, every time we talk, I just learn another angle or perspective of Korea that as a society, and it's a huge society. It's a nation. It's its own nation, and to think that, man, it's just like it's so imbalanced. Their economy and what they're getting, and that makes sense. That China is why they need China. That makes total sense why they need China, and maybe Russia. I don't know. A little bit, yeah. But for sure, yeah. China is like, it's their bankroll.
Yeah, it's their
the
only
sugar daddy.
customer.
It's the sugar daddy.
Yeah,
right now, because aside from the illegal activities they have to partake in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's mind blowing.
Yeah. So China also is very strict on their illicit drugs, right? So to import and export from North Korea, a neighboring country, means that some drugs will slip into their country.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you can just imagine, right? Like, this is how much that China is willing to put up with them because of the security that North Korea represents along their borders.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And distraction and all that other,
And,
all the
and
propaganda.
embarrassment.
Yes.
They're willing to deal with all of that. That's how important economic security to them is.
Well, moving back to crypto,
Yeah.
right? This is the future now. It's going to be how your children's children pay for their lunches. Maybe, who knows? Maybe your children will start using it, right? It'll be sooner.
I need lunch crypto, mama.
It's like, Dad, give me some of your bit. Come on, give me that coin. But I was looking at this. So this article was talking about 400 million in 2021. That's what they stole from 7 intrusions. And so I did some calculation stuff that I don't know if I'm good at math still. But according to the coin market cap on Investopedia, the crypto market is $1 trillion right now. That's how much is the valuation right now of the entire crypto market. And so North Korean cyber criminals stole 400 million in 2021, which is about 0.04%.
Wow. That's crazy.
Not small beans there. But it is actually in the pool of things, of grand scheme of crypto theft going out there.
Yeah.
But however, when you're looking at this, again, you're not looking at like a cell of hackers here. We're talking about like an entire nation who's got a very pointed and precise organization around, we need to make money for the entire country. We need to hack these things.
Right. The crazy thing is, it's for their nuclear ambition while their people starve.
Yes.
They're not stealing money. It's not taking from the rich and giving to the poor, right? It's taking from the rich and building missiles to support the rich. It's ridiculous.
It's just another level of like when we think of, back in the day, even now when we heard about ISIS and their opium trade to like fund training of new radicals. And this is like another angle and maybe another level of that, of just like, I'm sure Russia has done this and China does this as well, where they have their own hacker cells to disrupt or maybe even steal. But this is just like so blatant and outright, like they're just going for it.
Yeah. One of my friends in cybersecurity has told me that the Chinese will steal for information, and the North Koreans will steal do cyber theft for money. They want the hard cash. So, North Korea has a whole, as you mentioned, a whole hacking operation, not just focused on crypto, but just with everything, such as the interview, right? When the interview dropped, they did a targeted attack on Sony, and it cost that company hundreds of millions of dollars. Anyway, so this is one of the ways that North Korea will try to quote unquote make ends meet to fund their missile program.
And this is, I understand, like my mind is very juvenile, but this is just where it goes, and I'm always in film. But I can't help but imagining North Korea is this little John Connor stealing from the ATM so that he can go play at the arcade in the mall. But I feel like, easy money. But I feel like maybe North Korea is really the T-1000 coming after us right now.
That's the thing, right? That's the sort of you don't know whether they're a shoestring operation. In some cases they are, right? But in other cases, like their cyber attack industry, they have to be relatively precise and skilled at this, right? And it's always like what you would say, what I would imagine if like, one of my siblings was living a life of crime. Like, if you're successful at this, then you could apply this to other things, productive things. You can You can be a businessman if you can make it like in the drug trade. You can make it. If you can make it in the counterfeit trade, you can do this. You can. These are applicable skills, you know, and they're obviously good at stuff.
Yeah. And we
Right?
talked about talent. They're pulling their talent for sure.
Yeah,
And they are grooming their talent in a very regimented way, right?
Yeah.
An intentional way, but they're just, I don't know. There's something. It's always the thing we go back to.
It's for evil.
It's the it factor for North Korea. What is their thing? And their thing is just weird and bizarre and
Well, I mean, you know, I think they would say, well, we do this. We do this because you're putting us in a corner. We have to steal because we can't make money elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to them and say, well, if you'd give up your nuclear program, then you can use your skills in a useful way.
Yeah.
And they said, we're never going to do that.
Yeah.
So
they're still living in. They're still street cats right now.
yeah,
They don't want to leave that life.
they definitely don't.
That life of crime. I mean, it's just kind of their thing now.
Yeah. I mean, we have tried to persuade them and it's just not happening. So I don't know what else the world can do. We sanction the heck out of them. We put troops all on their grill. I mean, what more could we do to convince them otherwise? And they're not going to give up their weapons.
So yeah, here's the interesting thing. Okay, so I hear this dynamic of like, okay, we're looking for alternative streams of revenue to fund our weapons and our military program, which I've heard different things about. We don't have to get into it in this conversation, but basically I've heard we are vastly underestimating how much they're advancing, and then I've also heard like, no, they're still 50 years behind us, which both might be true.
Yeah.
You know. But when I think about that, I always come back to like, okay, we're talking about crypto. Crypto is a very modern, technologically savvy thing. I just don't know. I don't know if in my mind I feel like they just can't keep up. I mean, we talked about the medical thing, you know, last time, and how like there's some 1940s with that technology, and you know, their infrastructure is like broke everywhere. It's one of the darkest spots in the earth. You know, when you're in satellite. So like, how can a nation that's like that hope to, or even be a liable threat in any kind of cryptocurrency? You know, they can't mine crypto. They don't have the ability to. They don't have the resources to. I know that for sure. But you know, that's why they got to steal it. They got to go to like someone who got it already and take it. You know, but I that, you know what I mean? Like that always gets in my mind of like, they are advancing, quote unquote, but are they like, they're still their minds and their technology is still 50 years behind everybody else, maybe even like 70 years, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it really goes to show that if your people aren't advancing, then your country is not advancing. They could be right. They could be great hackers. They could be great missile makers. They can be, you know, great at all these counterfeiting type of things. But if your people aren't advancing, then you're still left in the dust, man. It is truly in the best interest of everyone in a given nation, that the most possible amount of people succeed.
Yes.
That is not on the radar for North Korea, unfortunately. They want those nukes.
It's the old adage, cheetahs never prosper.
It's true.
Well, I guess that gives me some comfort knowing that I'm not going to see a KJU NFT come out that sells for $100 million US, because you know some dumb over here on our side is going to buy that.
Oh man, that would be.
Hopefully they haven't found out about NFTs. I'm sure they have, but I don't think they understand it yet. Hopefully,
I don't know, man.
Or they're just going to steal it. They're going to go out there and go to, you know, what is that, CryptoPunk, whoever that guy that sold like all these NFTs for millions. Like they're just going to rob that guy or whoever owns his stuff.
Well, that's the thing. That I think that's what I'm kind of afraid of with crypto as well is that possible for North Korea to sell NFTs of their dear leader or whatever, and because we're not.
Yes and no. I mean, they have to be in the NFT market. I guess they could theoretically build their own servers, but that comes back to the technology piece. You know what I mean? Like the NFT actually has to live on certain servers, and that's what it does, and that's what you're buying, basically.
So if it lived on a U.S. server, then it would be illegal for someone to buy that
No.
off of North Korea? No?
No, not if they went through the right channel. But I think they got to go with the right channels to establish that NFT as legitimate and go through the right blockchain and have access and permission to do that.
Okay,
unless they built their own. That's the whole other thing. Like if they built their own
crypto.
And they joined the rest of the world wide web, like they have their own like Korean infrastructure from what I understand.
I see.
But yes, it's again, in theory, it's possible. But I think I see them taking the less elegant route of just the good old stick them up. Give me everything you got. Give me all your NFTs now.
Smash and grab.
Yeah. The old smash and grab.
Yeah, it's disturbing, right? It's also really disturbing that the country would resort to that a nation would organize around these types of crimes. It really makes me concerned for the people. Like, if you can't fund your own ambitions in a legitimate way, then how are you paying for food? How are you right? How are you getting resources, clothing?
Yeah.
Because they're not producing the clothing that they need. They need to import a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So how is that happening for the people? It's frightening to think about as they pour their talent and resources into things like this. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to enter our speculation nation now.
All right.
And try to wrap our heads around why. Well, okay, why and where? Where are they going? The next 10 years, we speculate here, is North Korea, where are they going to be in the crypto markets in 10 years? What is your gut telling you? What are they going to be? I mean, in 10 years, crypto is going to change a lot. That's a lot of time.
Okay.
It's changed a ton in the last 5 years. So in 10 years' time, who knows? We might have a ton of new cryptos on the market. Who knows? Maybe more nations and currency exchanges will actually accept crypto as a form of currency. What do you think? Where's North Korea going to be in all this?
Okay, so I think the answer to that question lies in what is happening with their nuclear program. Okay, because if they're allowed to connect to the rest of the world's economy, then I think there will be some normalization of their local economy, right? Their country's economy. So that means two things. Number one, that they disarm themselves, which I don't think will happen. Or number two, that their nuclear program is so advanced now that the world has to accept it, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when North Korea's nuclear program is just as good as the U.S.'s? Do we say, all right, guys, you win. We can't let your people starve for any longer. Or do we go even harder? I don't know what's beyond that event horizon, because it's going to happen, right? That, I think, more than the crypto or whatever, is what is North Korea's position going to be in 10 years? And then what is the world's reaction to that position going to be? I have no idea. It depends on who's the leader at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I do think it largely all depends on where their nuclear program is.
All right, I got an easier one for you since you skirted me on that one.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. It was a great. I mean, it makes sense. But here's a black and white. All right, let's say things get there. We're North Korea's getting belligerent, and now they're starting to really ramp up angst against the world. Looks like we're entering a conflict.
Yeah.
All right. And the U.S. is going to get involved.
Okay.
Who are you, Dan Chung, sending in there? You sending in Captain Casey Ryback, a.k.a. Steven Seagal,
Oh, okay.
to do some de-arming of nukes?
Black
Or
Ops, yeah.
are you sending in Neo, Keanu Reeves, to do some hack jobs? What are we doing here? Who are we sending?
Oof. I would go Seagal, man.
I knew you were going to pick Seagal.
I mean, come on. Like, first of all, what would Neo hack? Like, what is there to hack there? Right, just a few.
Their
servers.
56K baud modem network.
Exactly. I would definitely go with Steven Seagal.
The old school Steven, get in there.
With
the wrist locks and the
wrist lock,
the wrist throws,
the ponytail.
Aikido.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
The mission of Crossing Borders is to show the compassion of Christ to North Korean refugees and their children. Hey, we all know Koreans love spam, just not in the form of emails. We love sending awesome, non-spammy emails that give you all the information you want on what's happening to North Korean refugees. If you want it, go to crossingbordersnk.org and give us that email. Seriously, it's better than real spam.